Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Hope we had a wonderful Sunday. Today is your week one, day two, and then we are actually continuing from where we stopped yesterday. Front end development is a very interesting field of course, and you would enjoy it. You will enjoy every part of it. Why am I saying so? When you're building something, there's this joy when you build something. There's this joy when you're able to develop something and it comes out very well. So in front-end development, you'll be doing some nice and beautiful things that would actually come out very nice and beautiful. Now, for the purpose of yesterday, some persons joined in and were having issues with their network, and then it was messy. I would recap what we did yesterday. Now, yesterday we deep dived into front end development definition, and some persons had issues with understanding what front end development means. Now, let me just recap and tell you. Now, front end development means or is interpreted as the development of user experiences and user interfaces using programming languages or frameworks, as simple as ABC. As simple as ABC. It's not a big deal kind of thing that makes you that makes your brain want to explode. It's as simple as ABC. So when you're asked what a front end is, what a front end looks like, or what interpret us what front end is, I should want to expect a definition like the front end is developing user experiences and user interfaces that is being developed with what programming languages or frameworks. As simple as that. So for instance, you want to bake bread, right? We all know how we all know the key ingredients responsible for baking a bread. You must, if the presence of flour must be available, the presence of flour must be available. It's the same scenario here. In developing front-end pages, user experiences, user interfaces, we need programming languages. We need frameworks. This enables us to actually achieve our aim. Now, after we're done defining front end, we went into careers, and I said a whole lot about careers. Being a front end developer opens you to a whole lot of opportunities. You can work in any field. You can work in any field, from the oil field to the medical field to the engineering field. It is diverse. You can work in any field. The reason is, please don't ignore that. There's a famous statement that says any course that you're told that you can work anywhere is a useless course. Please, not front end development. Technology is being used everywhere. That's what I mean. Yeah, technology is being used everywhere, and this actually enables every single one of us as front end developers to ensure our inputs are everywhere. So if you go to the medical field, they run analysis digitally. They do tests digitally. For a pharmacist, for a doctor to a consultant to actually see something, he needs UI pages, right? Same thing goes for the engineering field. The engineers today actually do a lot of things. Same goes for so many fields, cut across many fields. Technology is being used across all fields. And then your specialization is front-end development. So you need to know it very well. Now, we progressed to learning HTML, and that's where we'll continue in today's class. HTML. HTML, as I said yesterday, is called hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. And what is it? It's actually the structure of web pages. HTML is the structure of web pages. Now, mind you, if someone asks you, what is a programming language? HTML is not a programming language. HTML is just a markup language. Reason is, if you're to build a program, you can't use HTML alone. HTML just provides you with the structure. It's just like a skeleton. If you walk into laboratories, labs, different labs across Nigeria and the globe, and you see a skeletal system standing, you can't call that skeletal system a human being, even if it actually looks like a human being, but you can't call it a human being. Same goes for HTML. You cannot see HTML alone and call it a program. You can't see HTML alone and call it a program. Your Telegram you're currently using, whether the web version or the app version, if you look at it closely, it actually has some traces of HTML, but it does not work alone. It doesn't work alone because it needs a programming language to actually work functionally and effectively. So we going forward would learn JavaScript, which is the short form is JS. We also learn CSS and then we'll build stuffs. So make sure you wear your seat belts and get ready for a very smooth ride. Now, for those that did not join yesterday, the recordings have been made available in the resources center. And I would also believe that we've installed our VS Code, our Visual Studio Code. Make sure it is installed. I dropped the resources to help you on that. Please, I saw a comment by someone. You're not to pay any dime to install VS Code. VS Code is open source. What it means is that open source means it is free and available to the general public. You're not to pay any dime. Anyone requesting cash from you for installation, know that you're on the wrong site. After you're done installing VS Code, the next thing I expect you is to go on to install Git and then sign up on GitHub. I stated all of that yesterday. This is me like brushing through yesterday's class. Now, let's go on for today. What do we have for today? Let me share my screen. Okay, please, for confirmation purposes, I for confirmation purposes, please, who can, I just need one person. I don't need too many persons. Can anyone see my screen displaying the front end development week 1?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Correct. That's progress.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can all go back to muting our mics. So if at any point you can't see my screen, my phone, I'm currently on the group. All you need to do is just comment. All I need is your comments on the group to say, okay, I can't see the screen anymore. Please. So don't mute your mic and start shouting, I can't see your screen, I can't see your screen. Just comment, please. Now, let's begin. Today, we are actually in the process of understanding what the skeletal system of web pages is, which is called HTML. HTML stands for hypertext markup language, and it is the structure, it is the skeletal system of web pages. Now, but first things first, how do we create a HTML project? I'm going to demonstrate that, but before I go on to demonstrate that, let me read out the process for us. Now, remember, I told all of us to install and set up Visual Studio Code yesterday. which most of us have done that. I also gave an example yesterday. Now I'm actually trying to bring everything down so that we can understand every barest minimum. If you want to bake a bread, you need a bakery. You want to work on a car, you need to get to the mechanic workshop or the automobile center. You want to actually, as a doctor, you want to work on people that are sick, you need the hospital center, the health care. Every single thing you need, you go to where it is required. Same goes for front end development. If you're told, oh, because my name is Timmy, oh, Timmy, please. If you tell me, oh, Timmy, please, we want so thing, we want so web page, develop it for us, develop the front end for us. What should be that first thing I would do? That's what we are entering into now. So every single step I would show you and take should stick to your brain so that you don't miss it. Now, what will be that first thing I will do? That's what I'm trying to explain. We are in the process of creating a HTML file. Yes, that's what we want to do. We want to create a HTML file. So what and what should we do? That's what we want to know today before we go forward. Now, how to create a HTML project. The step you will take first is to create a root folder and store in a known directory. I would do all of that so that we see it, but let me just read out the steps so that when I'm taking them, you already know that this has already been said. The second step you take is open the VS Code you installed and click on the folder option provided on the VS Code. When you're done with that, trace and open the folder you created from the VS Code. Then the last step you will take, create a file inside of it with your preferred name. Create a file inside of it with your preferred name, but make sure the extension is saved as .html inside the folder. Why is this so? So that your computer, your machine, your local machine, which is your laptop, your desktop, your phone, your tablet, whatever device you're using from the comfort of your homes, recognizes it as a HTML file. It's like saying you have 5 favors, 5 persons answering favor inside a house. But how are you able to recognize which one is this favor, which one? How do you now categorize them? You use their surnames. So you can have favor Wanchuku, you can have favor Tinubu, you can have favor Wike, you can have favor whatever you can call it, favor Timi, just like that. All of these and many more is how you recognize each of the 5 favors, people named favors, inside the room. Now, let me explain. Make sure your extension is saved as .html, else your computer would not recognize it as a HTML file. You must not forget. Now let's practicalize that so that we don't just talk theory. So first things first, this is how your desktop view looks like. Is anyone seeing my desktop view? Let me confirm that.
Yes, you can see it. Yes, you can see it.
Thank you. This is how your desktop view looks like. What should be that thing you do? So I will just, this is not my favorite place to save my folder, but then for explanation purposes and practical purposes, let me do this. okay, for practical purposes. Now, first thing you do is you click on, I want to believe you are all tech savvy, but then let me show you how to create a folder. Now, I would go on my desktop here and then right click or left click, depending on how your system is configured. Once you click on that, you click on new and then you click on folder. So this folder has now been created. Now let me name it front end CME. Please, someone should mute user mic. Someone's mic is not muted. Please, I am pleading. Please, I begged us from the onset, mute your mic or tell someone to guide you on how to mute the mics. Please help me. Thank you. So I just created a folder called front end CME and then I'll click enter. Now, this folder has been created, front end CME. What should be that next thing I would do? I would go to my VS Code. Remember, your VS Code should already be installed. You know how the drill goes. So I will go. I believe for everyone opening VS Code, this is how your VS Code looks like. The same thing with me. I don't expect anything different. So currently now, this is my VS Code. My VS Code will look like this. Remember, I created a folder called front end CME. So what's the next thing I will go on to do? Look at the open folder I talked to us about some while ago. Open folder. I will now click the open folder button. Now, it will now pop up something like this. What should be that next thing for me to do? I would now go on to look for the front end CME on the desktop. So let me go and trace my front end CME. Correct. So see my front end CME. It was created by 3/21 today. I will now click on it. Once you click on it, don't enter inside the folder, just click on it. When you now click on it, click on select folder here. Select folder. I will now click on select folder. Once you click on select folder, your VS Code would now load up the folder. So currently now it's loading. Correct. So you can see front end CME. Let me remove this. But inside the folder is still empty. But you can see that it is now loaded as a part. Front end CME. What should be that next thing I will do? Remember, this last step is to create a file with an extension called .html. Now I'll click on this icon here that says new file. If you hover over it, you see the text there called new file. So when I click on it, it actually allows me to type in what I want to type in. So I'll now go there and type index.html. I'll click on enter. As simple as ABC. As simple as ABC. Once you click on the .html, it saves it as a HTML file. Now, your computer recognizes it as a HTML file wherever it is being found. If I remove this file, put it on any desktop anywhere in the world, the computer, the machine, the laptop, whatever device you'll be using would recognize it as a HTML file. As simple as ABC. Now, let's now go back to our slide to continue. Please, did anyone, hope I'm still visible, like my screen is still visible. Can anyone still see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. So let me continue from my slide. We'll still visit this our file. We'll come back. We'll come back to that. So that's a proper way of creating a HTML file. Now, after you have created your HTML file, what should be that next thing you go on to do? After you've gone to the bakery and then prepare all um, your pan, your whatever that will enable you bake bread, what should be that next thing? The next thing is to learn how to bake the bread. Sorry, not learn. The next thing is for you to actually bake the bread itself. If you don't bake the bread, then the bakery is useless. The pans, the whatever, the equipment for baking the bread is not useful. So the next thing we'll go on to learn is how to now create, how to write HTML syntax. Leave the big English called syntax. How to write HTML words, tags, elements, things that we can communicate as HTML writings. How do we write this markup language? That's the next procedure we're about to take. Now, for the next step, understanding the anatomy of HTML. Understanding the anatomy of HTML. That's our next part. Now, I would write the practical parts. So this is just for explanation purposes. So when we go to the practical part, you already have an idea of what I'm saying. So that's why when I teach small, I go on my VS Code. That's what we'll be doing for this class to make it more understandable. Now let's begin. Now, on your HTML file, inside your HTML file, the markup language you'll be writing, the things that you'll be writing, the first one is called doc type HTML. Doc type HTML. And what does this doc type HTML represent? It defines the document type. It defines the document type. Before, years back, this doc type HTML was not here. It was just this HTML. But coming years, like a few years back, we had the doc type HTML, which represents the HTML5. So this defines to your browser, whatever browser your web page would open up on, it will define it that this your file is a HTML5 file. As simple as that. It's not one difficult thing. So you have to place your doc type HTML at the beginning of your HTML file when you want to write your codes. The next thing you would have is your HTML inside the greater than and less than. Greater than and less than. So you must open your greater than and open your less than and impute the HTML word inside of it. Please don't forget, the HTML tag is representing the root element of the page. It is that root element that wraps everything inside of it. So the browser actually, when you open your web page on the browser goes from top to down. So every single thing is being interpreted to the browser. Now, let me digress a little bit and try to explain things to us. Now, if I meet someone who speaks French, and me from Nigeria, I can speak French, I can speak English and Spanish. So when I leave the shores of Nigeria and then I meet someone who speaks French, what should I do? I would have to switch to French, because if I speak English for the Frenchman, he doesn't grasp any single thing. I'll need to actually be flexible enough and speak French for him. If I meet the Spaniard, I would have to speak Spanish. The Spanish man does not understand my English, or he doesn't understand the French I speak, so I have to speak Spanish for him. That's how it works. Now, your machine you're currently using now, your laptop, your desktop, your tablet, your phone, whatever device you're using, understand some certain things and interpret them. If you speak English to your computer and tell your computer that, computer, maybe create a file and write maybe just create a random file with your VS Code and don't save it with .html. Then inside the file, write, please create a website for me that does this, do this, and do that with this function and this function. And run it. Your computer would not understand anything. In fact, it will just be there. But when you speak in a certain language to your computer would now grasp the information because it now resonates with it. It will now interpret it and give you an output. So that's why when we were in school then, secondary school, primary school, we're told the computer system takes in input and will give out output. If you can clearly remember, that was how the system in school then. It is the same thing you're now doing. You would input to your computer certain languages. You write to the computer in a certain language. The computer interprets it and does what? Give it output. Shikina ABC. So what you're currently doing today is learning how to speak in HTML to your computer. So the computer understands it and gives you that what? Desired output. If you're told to build an online store, you use certain languages, speak to the computer gives you a certain output, and you've created an online store. As simple as that. But you cannot go and be speaking English to the computer. Your computer does not understand English. Your computer understands certain languages. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, PHP, Ruby, and etc. Goes on and on. These are languages the computer understands. That's why it is called programming languages. So don't get confused when you hear the word, why is my computer not understanding English? No. Now, when you write type HTML at the top, you're telling your computer that, see, computer, this is a HTML5 document, a HTML5 web page. Interpret it as it is being said. The next thing is the HTML inside the greater than and less than, and it is represented as the root element of the page. The next one is the head tag. What does the head tag do? It contains the metadata. And what does the metadata enable for SEO optimization and the rest of that? You want to link pages, you want to do things. The head tag actually aids all of that. As we go on, you would understand the use of every single one of them. We'll practicalize it live on this particular class before we close out. Now, we have the body tag. What does the body tag do? The body tag carries every visible content. So if you go on every website, every single thing you're seeing on that website is in between the body opening and the body closing. I would explain all of that. So any content you want to put on any website, any web application, app, and all of that, it goes inside the body. Let's go to the next. Now, aside the ones I just showed you, we have common HTML tags that are being used every single day. I can vouch and I can tell you that this particular tag, somebody is writing it at this moment. It is being used every single second. That's why it's called common HTML tags. You use them every single time you're starting a project. Now, the first one is called the heading tag, which is the H1 tag. The first one is called the heading tag, which is the H1 tag. Now, this heading tag actually acts as the introduction of the web page, the first word you see on web pages. So, for instance, let me say I give you guys an assignment to build a personal portfolio page. This personal portfolio page carries all the details of you, school you attended, skill sets you have, and projects you've done. When I land on your web page, the first word I'll see is what? Welcome to what or whatever. But that first attractive header, that catchy first word you see is called the heading 1 tag. Now, let me not even go too far. Currently, look at this slide. You see common HTML tags. These common HTML tags you're seeing like this is described as the heading 1 tag. Why is it called heading 1? Because you can have so many headings in your website. So the first one is called the head H1. So if I go under this generic block level container, I want to start another thing again and create another heading. That one now I'll call it heading 2. If I go down again, I want to create another heading. I call it heading 3. Why is this so? When you give birth to 10 children and you want to if you give birth to 10 children, you must, okay, let's say a lady gives birth to 3 kids, no, two, let's use twins. A lady gives birth to twins, and they look alike. How would you know how would you now categorize them? Give them different names. So if I call this one David, he answers. If I call this one Daniel, he answers. So that's how it is. They are all headings, but they are now classified. Classified information, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, just like that. So just name it according to the number of headings you have. The next one is called the paragraph tag. The next one is called the paragraph tag. And what does the paragraph tag do? The paragraph tag helps you to what? Display block of text. It makes you to add text, additional text, a paragraph of text. You know what paragraph means? So you open your P tag and then you close it. Now, when you're done with your first heading, you must ensure you put a corresponding closing tag. This is what a closing tag means. It's almost the same thing with the first opening one, but it has a slash before you write the H1 text inside of it. Please don't forget. These are little details you shouldn't miss at all. Please. Now, paragraph tag. Paragraph tag. Paragraph tag, you can have so many paragraphs. You know how it is. You can have so many paragraphs in your work, building a web application. The paragraph tags can be so many. So we use the paragraph tag to actually, with the paragraph tag, you don't need to add P1, P2. There's no need. There's no need. You just give them classes and IDs. We'll explain later. We are still in the opening session. So that's why I say everything is linked to everything. I told you guys yesterday, don't miss any of the classes. The reason is if you miss any one, it's like a link, it's a chain. So when you now get to like the 5th class we'll have, and then we make reference or use one particular thing we learned in class 1 or 2, you'll now be asking, what is now this? Because everything is linked. So as you now progress, you now get better view, better understanding of that first thing you learned. It now makes more sense. I will take in questions in like 10 minutes from now to just clarify you on most things. So don't worry, get ready with your questions that you want to ask. I'll take in them. Let me just wrap up this particular section before we proceed. Now we have the link tag. We have the href tag. Now this href tag is used. Remember, we'll practicalize all of this, so please don't think that only write theory. I'll practicalize them immediately. Now we have the href tag. What does this href tag do? The href tag is used to actually bring in links. So there are links that you can bring in from other websites. For instance, have you observed that you can go on most websites or most applications, and when you click on one button, it takes you to Facebook, it takes you to Twitter, it takes you to Instagram. For Our Gen Zs here, because most of our millennials don't use TikTok like that. So if you go on TikTok and then you click on most things, Linktree and the rest, most persons have it on their profile. It takes them out of TikTok to another application, either Instagram, Twitter, formerly Twitter known as X, Instagram, and the rest. So that's it. The href tag is used for that purpose. It's a link tag. Now we have the image tag. And remember to always close your anchor tag. Your anchor tag, which is this, remember to always close it. Now we have the image tag. What does the image do? The image tag helps to actually display pictures. Display pictures, and it is self-closing. You don't need to close it. It is okay as it is. No corresponding closing tag. Now we have the div tag. You'll be using this one every single day. The div tag acts as a division tag or divide tag. The full name is either divide or division, depending on what you think it is. But the short form we use is called the div tag, which is the div tag. We use it to do what? Create as many containers as possible. So for instance, on my website, I can have a section for mothers, I can have a section for fathers, and I can have a section for children. I can use the div tag, give it a name, and then section it on my website to create different divisions. We'll understand that as we proceed. Let me not take us too far from where we are supposed to be. Now, we also have the form tag. This form tag helps us create forms. These form tags helps us create forms. For instance, most of us, when you want to use most websites, they'll tell you, oh, sign up. Most web applications will tell you sign up. Most you want to apply for something, you see username, you see full name, you see state of origin and all of that, blah blah blah. It is called the form tag. So at this point, I want to take in questions before I proceed to the practical aspect. Who has questions? Please, just one by one. If you unmute your mic and you hear somebody speaking, just hold on. When the person is done, you continue. Who has questions?
Sorry, I have a question
Go on.
concerning the div tag. I did not get your explanation
properly on
it.
Okay, that's the only question.
Yes, that's my only question.
Okay, let me go over it again. Now, what is a div tag actually? A div tag is just simple. It is the short for division. The full name is division, but we don't use division. Rather, we use div. We use div tag. It is a generic container element in HTML that groups other elements together for styling, layout, or semantic purposes. Now, let me use a more realistic term. If you go to schools, okay, no, what am I using school for? Let me use for those who go to church. If you go to our churches today, our churches have children church and adult church. So if you're a child, you're to go to what? The children church. If you're an adult, you go to your adult church. Same goes for schools. When we're in school, secondary school, or even in university, if you're in year one, you go to the class for year one. If you're in year two, you go for that. So the div tag acts as a generic block level container. It helps to section and create group elements. When we do the practical example later on, you would understand, but I am introducing it now so that it sticks to your brain. Then when you see the practical aspect, you tend to understand fully. It just acts as a division tag. as the name implies, what's division? Group things accordingly, just group things. Just group things on your code, then you use it for styling and other purposes. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. So I don't know your name, but whoever asks, I hope I'm able to shed a bit of light. But when you do the practical aspect, I think you understand more.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very
I
much.
think I will
I
just
will
wait for
just
the
wait for the
practical
practical
aspect.
aspect of it.
Thank you. Who has questions again? Does anyone have any question before we move further?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
Okay.
a
I have a
question.
question.
The question
The
I have
question I have
is
is
if
if
you can
you
quickly
can
brief on
quickly
the,
brief on the
the VS Code
the VS
that you
code
said
that you
when we
said
create a
when we
file
create a file
on our
on our
desktop,
desktop.
then we
Then
open
we open
the
the
VS Code
VS code
that we have
that we
already
have already
downloaded.
downloaded.
So then we
So
open
then
the
we open
file
the file
inside the
inside
VS
the
Code.
VS code.
So I want to
So I want
ask,
to
what
ask,
is the
what
other
is the other
process?
process?
So for
So
those
for
that
those that
admit I did
admit
not
to
get
have
it,
not
so
get
that
it,
should
so that
not.
should not, yes.
Are you talking about how to create a HTML file?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so before I go on with that, before I do a recap on that, does anyone have any question related to that? Maybe not creating HTML file, maybe something related. So I do everything at once before we proceed. Does anyone have any question again? Just put in our
Yes, I have a
questions.
Yes,
question
I have a
relating
question
to
relating
also
to
the
Correct,
file.
the
correct.
file.
The
The
you told
we
us
you
how
told
to
us how
create
to
the
create the
folder and the
folder and the
index.html.
index.html.
So
So
my
my question
question
is,
is:
is it
Is
that
it that
for
for
every new
every new
project
project
you have
you
to do,
have
you
to
have
do,
to
you have
create
to
a
create
new
a new
folder?
folder?
Yes, boss. So let me now give you an instance to just, if you're told that please, maybe someone actually meets you and tells you, please, build an online store, an e-commerce store, online store for me, like Jumia. Please, we'll pay you and all of that. Then you now go on your desktop, create a folder, name it that online store name, and you start working on it. Normally you have HTML file inside of it normally. Now, in the process of doing that, somebody else now meets you. Oh, Timi, how far? Please build a school application, web application for us, and let it be like this. You still have HTML file in that one. The question is, how do you now have multiple HTML file on your computer? Won't you have issues? Won't you have complications? This is now when you now create folders and name it for each purpose. So inside, please, someone should mute user and mic. Now, when you now create these different folders, you have HTML files running inside of them. So for each project you're to begin, you must create a new folder, and the HTML file must be inside that folder. It must not be outside the folder. I hope I'm able to clarify you now.
Yes, we've been
Yes,
able
we've
to.
been able
Thank
to.
you. We've been able to.
Is it clear enough now?
Yes, it is
Yes,
clear
it
enough.
is clear enough.
Okay. Who has questions?
I do.
I do.
Good
Okay,
afternoon.
okay. Good afternoon. Go on.
All right. So
All
my
right. So
question
my
boils down to
question
the
boils down
file.
to the file.
After you
After
linked
you
the
linked
VS
the
Code
VS
to
Code
the folder
to
you
the folder
created,
you created,
you
you
opened a
opened
new file
a new
under
file
that
under that
folder. You
folder.
named
You
it
named it
index.html.
index.html.
So my
So
question
my question
is it a
is
fixed
it
thing?
a
Should it
fixed thing? Should it
should the file always
should the
start
file
with that
always start with that
index.html, or you
index.html,
can
or you
put
can
something
put
else
something else
.html?
.html?
What's your name?
My name is
My
Preste
name is
Itoyo.
Preste Itoyo.
I didn't get that.
My name is
My name
Preste
is Preste
Itoyo.
Itoyo.
Okay, now the thing there is you can name it any name you choose to name it. As I earlier told us, you can have as many as you can name it any name. You can name it Tinubu, you can name it Nigeria, you can name it anything. But my own is make sure you save it as .html. So it can be tinubu.html, no problem. It can be your name.html. It can be timi.html. But make sure it is saved as .h. That .html. Why is it so? Why is it important? It is important because your computer will now understand that, hey, see, this is a HTML file. It will now treat it as a HTML file. Your computer will now recognize it once you do that extension like that. So please don't forget. Is it clarifiable now?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
Thank
is.
you.
Thank you.
Correct. So who has questions? Who has questions? Okay, now let me answer our friend who has issues with the creating.
I
Okay, you
I
have
have an
questions.
issue, sir.
Okay, go on.
Sir, my name is Philip White.
No, hold on. Let one person go on.
Sir,
Hold on, let one person go on. Let her go on first. Go on. You that asked first, go on. Who was the lady that said she has an issue?
Okay, it was Okay, me. it Good was evening, me. Good sir. evening, sir.
Go on. Yeah.
Okay, so I
Okay, so I
created my
created my
folder
folder
and I added
and I added the
.html, but it's still
.html, but it's still
showing an
showing
ordinary
an
file.
ordinary file.
Yes, you created a folder. You have to name that folder, not with .html. I would
Yes,
show
I
you.
did.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Then see, when you create the folder on the desktop, not inside the VS Code, create it, name it, just casually name it with your name. Eh?
Okay.
Now, in fact, it's related to what I want to do now. Let me redo it again. Somebody was
Okay, sir.
asking, just
Okay, sir.
mute your mic, I'll show you everyone again. Someone was actually asking a question before. Who was the person? Who was the person speaking that he has an issue?
Go on. Go on.
Go on. Go on, I can hear you.
So I've
So
already
I've already
explained. I've
explained.
already
I've
asked
already
them
asked
where you
them
go
where
over
you
it,
go
and
over it,
that's
and
the
that's
issue.
the issue.
The girl that
The
spoke
girl that
now, the
spoke
woman
now,
that
the
spoke
woman
now,
that spoke
even
now,
said.
even said.
So I'm talking
So I'm
about
talking about the
HTM project,
HTM
how to
project, how
create
to
it
create
from
it
the track.
from the track.
NTM
All
folder.
right.
NTM folder.
Okay. For the purpose of that, since we're having everyone with that issue, let me go over that again. Okay, is my desktop screen still visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Now, this is how you do it. This is the one I created before. Let me delete it. Okay, it's opening another file. All right. Now, this is how my desktop screen is. What should I do? I've switched on my laptop. Let me begin. I would now right click. When I click or left click, depending on how your system is configured, I would now come here and click on new. I will now click on folder. You can see my folder is there. I'll click on it, folder. Now it will now be like this folder. The next thing I will now do is give it a random name. Not just, don't mind me, for the purpose of this class, I am saying a random name. If you're told to build something, I usually say online store because majority of the time I build online store. So what do I do next? I will not write, let me just write online store. Online store. I can also say Timi online store, but I'm just saving it like this for the purpose of this class. I will not click enter. Currently now, an empty folder has been created. What's the next thing I'll do? The next thing I'll do is to go on and load it up on my VS Code. Now, there's no need for me to touch this folder. I would go and open my VS Code. Let me see my VS Code icon. Let me click on it. I've opened it, so just hold on. It's loading up. Correct. I believe this is how everyone's VS Code is showing. Now, when I'm done like this, I would now go and click. Your VS Code will be showing like this. You now click on Open Folder. When you click on Open Folder, it will show you something like this. It is now left for me to go and trace that folder I created. I will now go and trace that folder. Desktop. Yeah, it's on my desktop. I created it. And I saved it online store. Look at the online store. Created by 354. I will now tap on it and then select folder. So it has loaded up. So if you watch well, so if you watch by the side, you see it online store. Look at it showing here by the sidebar, online store. Now the next step, remember, we have not created any HTML file. We are just loading up our project folder that will have our HTML file inside. The next thing you now go and do is to create the HTML file itself. And how do you do that? You click on it. So by the side, you see new file, you see new folder, you see this, and you see this. You don't have any business with this other three. All you need to do is tap on new file. Look at the new file, tap on it and write, let me use tinubu.html. So you can see I wrote whatever name I choose to write, but it's showing .html. Now let me rename this file. Let me rename it to Timmy. So you can see that it's still perfect. Now let me remove that .html to, let me rename that .html to tinubu. If you .tinubu. So if you observe clearly, this is no longer a HTML anymore. .tinubu does not mean anything to the computer anymore. Does not mean anything, it's useless. So you have to properly change everything to normal for the computer to recognize it. It must be saved as .html. Remember, that's the only way your computer recognizes it as a HTML file. So the extension, I would go back and write HTML and click on enter. Timmy.html. As simple as that. Okay, so for those who asked the question, do you now understand?
Yes, we understand now. But
Okay,
there is one thing I want to ask.
Okay, go
You
on.
said, you know that
when
you said
you
when you created the file on our desktop.
desktop.
So the file we can create it with the maybe you are given a project that you open a fashion design website for someone. So the person said maybe MD fashion design. So we now create a file on the desktop. And the name is include fashion MD fashion design after saving it. So when we want to do create our HTML file, can we still use that same name or no?
Okay, like just recap again. I didn't get one part clearly.
Okay, what I'm saying is we are given a project to build
Okay.
online store or initial whatever. So we have word. The person now does that, okay, use top fashion design to create. So now we have created the one as we said on the desktop. So when we are now getting to our VS Code, I want to create our HTML file. Can we still use that same top fashion design name that we have already used to create our folder folder on desktop that will bring
No,
our
no, your computer will not allow you have same folder name now. Don't you remember? Your computer will not allow you have same folder name. You will just have to tweak it to another name. You can tweak it to your name store, whatever name store, but you can't have the same folder name on your desktop computer. Does it make sense?
Okay, sir. But sir, no, don't say anything because now that the HTM file that we create now, can we use that name of the program? I mean the project as our HTM file, the one that we create, and use another name for the desktop one. Or I don't get it because of when we want to submit the project to the owner. Which one are we going to submit? Is it the one that we created with our HTM, or the one we created on our desktop? Based on you said the name of the computer cannot accept same name, so it has to be different name.
Okay, so look at how it works. For best practices, when you're naming the HTML file, just name it as index.html. Just name it index. It's not something that it's not one serious thing. Namings are just there. Just name it index.html. Please just name it index. For best practices, this is to guide everybody. Name it as index.html, please, for everyone. But if you want to have your own unique HTML name, no problem, it will still work as long as your .html is there. But best practices to everyone worldwide, we all use index.html. Whether you're doing anything, index.html. Thank you. That's for that question. Let's proceed. So at this point, we want to practicalize with most of the things we have learned. The first thing we learned was the doc type HTML. The first thing we learned is the doc type HTML, and this is how it looks. Now, the doc type HTML actually tells your computer that this is a HTML5 document. Now, the next thing we went on to learn is the HTML. HTML. Okay, so the next one we went on to learn is the best practice. Sorry, just let me also correct this. Okay. Okay. Please, can anyone see my screen? Let me know that I'm still visible.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. So earlier on, we continued our HTML series, and then I talked to us about some certain tags. Now, I talk to us about the doc type HTML, which tells us that this is a HTML5 document. I talked to us about, I changed the name from Timi to index.html because I told you guys best practices is that you use index, but it's not a must, it's not first and all of that. So please, that's why I have to change it. I must be an example for everyone. Now, when I talked about the doc type and I talked about the HTML, I talked about the HTML tag. The HTML tag, which acts as a root element that wraps up everything. So everything is wrapped up inside of it. Now, I went on to tell us about the head tag. Now, the head tag is super important. What does it do? It actually acts as an environment where it acts as a wrapper for links, for meta content, and so on. With time, you would understand. In like your next class, by your next class, you would understand the usefulness of the head tag. So when I'm talking about it now, it's all sound gibberish. Don't be scared. That's why I said everything is linked to everything. So if I rush to that particular extent, you might say, oh, let's take it a step after another. Now, the head tag acts as an environment that carries links. An environment that carries links. Now, the next thing I talked about is the body tag. It's the body tag. Now, the body tag, what does it do? The body tag contains every single detail and content of your website. The body tag carries and contains every single detail and content of your website. Every single detail, every single content of your website. We now have the last one, which is the closing of the HTML, which you can clearly see. Now, let's now practice. Now we have the title tag. Sorry, I skipped that. Now, for instance, if you're told to build the name of your folder or the name of your project, if you're told to build a Timi store, a store that Timi sells something online, just come here and name and replace this. Come here and write Timi online store. So the title tag, what does it do? It carries the title, of the project you're doing. As simple as that. You enclose the name of the project in between the opening tag of the title and the closing tag. Now, how do you open a title tag? How do you open tags in general? You must have this first, which has no slash, the greater than and less than, with the title inside of it closed, and then you now write the text, Timi online store. You now, by the end, you were done writing the text, the title of the project. You now go on and put a slash and then put title. That actually signifies as the closing of the title tag. Now, just a second, guys. Let me rectify this. Okay. The next thing is the closing of the head tag. Now, same way you close the title tag, same way. Now it's like building a skeletal system. It's like when God was creating us or Allah was creating whatever faith you believe in. Still the same process. So imagine yourself building a human being. So just imagine yourself you have a head, you have, that is the same thing we are doing here. Now, the body tag, what does the body tag do? The body tag carries the content of the web page. The body tag has the main content of the web page. Inside the body tag, that's where you now write your H1, your P tag, your image tag, and all of that, which we would perform in this class. So before I go on, does anybody have any question regards to what we've just browsed through now? Is there any question? Is it that you've gotten confused? Just let us know. Let me answer your question before I proceed. Is there any place you've gotten confused as I was teaching?
I have a question, sir.
Okay.
So
Go on.
the title tag, is it under the head tag?
Yes, it must be placed inside the head tag. So if you watch well, the head closes. Anything below your skull is no longer does not have any business with you. Below your mouth, or will I use that one? Is no longer your head anymore. It's your neck, your shoulder, your hand, and all of that. So your head ends there. And just have that picture in your mind. So the title must be placed inside the title open, and the title close must be inside the environment of the head, in between the head opening and the head closing. Is that understandable?
Yes, understand.
Correct. Who has question? Who has
Yeah, I
question?
have a
Yes,
question.
sir.
One by one, one by one. You go first.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
talked
talked
about the
about the
naming
naming
system
system
for the
for the
index, okay,
index,
for
okay,
the
for the
HTML file.
HTML file.
Now,
Now,
if you
if
have,
you have,
for instance,
for
for that
instance, for
online
that
store,
online
you
store,
could
you
have
could
several
have several
HTML
HTML
files.
files.
Would you
Would you
continue
continue
naming them
naming them
index.html,
index.html,
index.html?
index.html?
So, okay, if you have like two HTML files inside that folder, inside the same
Uh,
folder.
Oh,
yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Eh? Okay. Now, when you have scenarios where you'd have multiple HTML files, such scenarios, you now revert to what we now do. What do we do? You now give it distinct HTML names. But all of them, if you're having 5 HTML files, make sure the extensions are saved as .html, timi.html, whatever.html. If you now have more, if you're having multiple HTML files, does it make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
perfect.
Okay. So the next person.
Afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, please,
Sir,
I'm
please, I'm
lost in this
lost in this
particular place
particular
that they
place that
create they create
they create
HTML.
HTML.
You
So
cannot be you cannot
what I'm
What I'm
seeing in your
seeing in your
screen,
screen,
I am seeing
I am
open
seeing open
editor.
editor.
From that
From
place,
that place,
I'm lost
I'm
there.
lost there.
where are you lost?
Because I've
Because
created my
I've created
own
my own
Ignore, please,
folder.
guys. Guys, please, on my code you're seeing, ignore this pop-up text. To HTML element must have language attributes. Ignore it. It's a prompt by VS Code. Also ignore this Timi. Timi is an unknown word. They will surely tell you. You see what I was telling you? Your computer does not recognize all these words. For instance, Timi, your computer does not recognize it. So when you type in words that it does not understand, it tends to give you this, but it can be disabled. I activated mine. So just disregard it. And please recap on your question. I didn't get it correctly. Thank you.
Okay, I
Okay,
said
I
that
said that
when
when
I create
I
a
create a
folder
folder
and now
and now
open
open
the VS
the
Code
VS code
page.
page.
So what
So
I'm
what
seeing
I'm
in your
seeing
own is I'm
in
seeing
your own
open
is I'm
editor.
seeing open editor.
So
So
I can't access
I
this
can
other
access
part
this
that
other part that
you are
you are
doing because
doing because
with what I'm seeing
with
in
what
my
I'm
own
seeing in
system
my own
is
system is
just that
just that
folder I've
folder
created.
I've created.
So
So
how do I
how do
enter
I
this other
enter
side?
this other side?
I think I showed us just now. Where did you see when I did it the second time?
No.
No.
That's it. That's the issue. So what will happen is we need to actually move forward. I would revert back on that on the closing of the class. We need to achieve our aim for today, and we've not done that. So I will do that, then revert back on it. Just stay tuned, please, because I showed it like 3 times. Two persons had same issue you had, so you cannot be repeating something over and over again. Chill, I'll come back and then show it. Is that okay for you? Okay, guys, let's proceed. If you have any questions, just hold them. I would be attending to your questions just in a jiffy. Now, let's continue. Now, remember I told us that your body tag, this is the body tag. This is the body open tag, and this is the body closing tag. Now, inside of it, remember, inside your look at your body now, just look at yourself. You have a stomach and everything. Inside your stomach, you have intestine and liver, kidney, and all of that. It is the content you carry. Inside the body open and inside the body closing is where every single detail about the webpage is contained inside. So every single detail a website would display, it is inside of it that it is being embedded. Now, the next thing we'll go on to do is H1. Please, in few minutes, we'll begin our attendance. So don't log off.
Please, I can't open my dashboard.
Okay,
Hello,
so
sir.
if
Hello,
you
sir.
what's the issue?
Please, I can't open my dashboard of this
Hold on now, after the class.
Yesterday,
Hold on after the class. That's your phone does not have anything to do with our class currently. Just hold on. You'll be attended to, please. Just try to grasp what we are doing. That one is secondary. Thank you. So this is the H1 we talked about some minutes ago. Remember, H1 is called the heading 1 tag. So if you want to comment, you use the // because once you use the / on the line of any text you're writing, your computer, your VS Code doesn't recognize it as a text. Sorry, as a code anymore. It recognizes it as a text, so you can use it for description purposes. So I use it so that for those to be everyone to be able to know that this is a H1 tag. Now, H1, welcome to front-end class. Now, I want every single one of us to go on this search bar. Look at this search bar clearly. I want every one of us to take notes. On this search bar, click on this search bar. Sorry, not there. Click on these 4 boxes you're seeing. When you see these 4 boxes by your VS Code, click on it. Once you click on it, you'll see search extension. Search extensions. You see this, and then right inside of it, live server. You see live server. Look at it here. Live server. My own is already installed, so I cannot uninstall it. It's already installed. I've installed it for how many moments coming. So all you need to do is just, you'll be showing install. Just click on install. Once you click on install, just wait and let it install. My own is already installed. Remember, this is how your sidebar is. A search icon, a source control icon, a debug icon, and these 4 extension boxes. Click on it. Once you click on it, it will show you this empty box for you to type in text. Type live space server inside. Once you're done, you see live server. Click on it. Once you click on it, install it, and you're ready to go. Please, if you're having issues, still ask me so I guide you. Now, welcome to front-end class. Welcome to front-end class. This is our first H1. Now, by the downside, after you've installed the live server, by the downside, you see a text here, go live, go live. But if you have not successfully installed it, you can now click on your HTML file. When you click on your HTML file, it will show you these options. So you can now open it with Edge, or the browser that I installed is called Edge. So the browser on my laptop rather. So when you click on open with Edge, you see open browser, and it will still open perfectly well. So when you click on go live, look at the go live just down. When you click on Ctrl S and then you click on go live, so it's starting. You now wait for it, it loads up. So look at this. Welcome to front-end class. Welcome to front-end class. Sorry, let me remove this my heading. Yeah. So welcome to front-end class. Welcome to front-end class. We've made use of our H1 tag. We've made use of our H1 tag. Now let's go below and then I'll use our P tag, our paragraph tag, to do some magic. Now inside our P tag, I'll now write, I'll write some block of text. This is CareerEx. This is CareerEx by Access Bank. Yes, so this is CareerEx by Access Bank. What should be the next thing I'll do? Let me go. So you click on Ctrl S, that's Ctrl S to save it and make changes. When you click on Ctrl S, you now go. Let me go and check for updates. So if you see down below, you see this is CareerEx by Access Bank. This is CareerEx by Access Bank. Now, let's make it more interesting. Let's now go below and add a image tag. Remember, we learned image tag today. Image. So currently now we have the image tag, but nothing is displaying. Nothing is displaying because we don't have an image. What should I do? I will go on my browser and then let me search for. Please, someone should, the person on mic that is unmuted should help me, please. CareerEx. I'll type in CareerEx on Google, and then when I type in CareerEx, let me go to images and see what pops up in the image. Okay, so look at this image here, CareerEx front-end development. I would click on it and then I would copy image address. I'll copy the image address. I don't need to download the image. I'll just copy the image link. So after copying it, I'll go back on my VS Code, and inside the source, this SRC, which is the short form for source, I will now paste it. I'll paste it there. Yes, I'll paste it there. This is for our image tag that we learned today. I'll paste it there. Another way you can do it is to create a folder here. Create a folder here and name it images. When you create a folder, you name it images. You can now import, go off the VS Code and now import pictures. We'll do that shortly, but let's do this one and check. Now, when I'm done with this, I'll click on Ctrl S and then ensure it is saved. Then I go back and check. Correct. So you can see CareerEx CareerEx front-end web development, 3 months, 2 live sessions weekly. Welcome to front-end class. This is CareerEx by Access Bank. CareerEx front-end web development. This is the picture that's been displayed. Now, another sweet way I could do it is download the picture, have a soft copy of the picture, which I want to do now. Watch closely. So currently now, I have saved the picture. Yeah, I've downloaded it. I just downloaded it. I clicked on it and I clicked save the image. Now I will now come to this see the folder I created, online store, and I will now click inside of it. Now remember, we created a new folder called images. I would now go to my downloads and click on copy. Oh, not open. I'm not supposed to open it. Yeah, I'll click on copy. Yeah, copy, and I'll now go back. I'll now paste it inside the images folder. Yeah, so I've pasted it now. I would now go back to my VS Code. Yeah, I'll go back to my VS Code and then look at it. Look at the picture we just imputed. Now, back to my image tag, I would remove that link. So instead of using that link, I can now import the name of this picture. This picture you're seeing, oip.jpg. I'll write it here because that's the name of the folder. So what should I do? I'll write, okay, so images. Oh, sorry, this is calling along. Yeah. So you can see, first of all, you write the name of the folder /oip.jpg. Remember, so you have to follow the paths to where the picture is being placed, which I just did. Images /oip.jpg. Now let's go back to our code and then see, sorry, our output. Remember, click on Control S. Then let's go back. So you can see it is still showing. Now, let me remove this and see whether it will still show. It's no longer showing. It's no longer showing. That's because we've removed it and nothing is there. Now, let me place it back. Correct. So if we go back there, it's now showing. Now, this alt equals to double quotes you're seeing here is used to give it an alternate text. For instance, if something happened to the image, what should show there? So we can give the alternate text as a picture displaying CareerEx front-end development info. So for instance, let's say maybe this image was mistakenly removed. That's what you see displaying there, to give the users or give the people that will be viewing your website an idea of what was supposed to be there. So you can see the picture is no longer there, but the users can now have an idea that a picture displaying CareerEx front-end development info is an idea of what is usually supposed to be there, as simple as ABC. But let's go and make sure our picture is showing. So images dot, yeah, then you can see our image is back on track. Now let me pause at this moment. Who has questions? I know I have a lot of questions. Yeah, let me take them one by one. Just slow down. I know that it will be much. Just one by one. Let's go here. You can go.
Please, I have a question.
My question is the my question is the part where you brought in an extension. Can you please recap how you brought in the extension for preview?
Okay, I'm coming. So please, guys, I just opened the session for attendance. I want to actually encourage us while this question and answer session is going on, go in and start marking your attendance. It will be closed by 5:10. 5:10, I will close it. So let me go back to you. Sorry, can you recap? The lady that just spoke now.
All right.
I
said the extension you used to view the preview of the code, this thing you're doing. How did you bring in the extension?
Okay, look at extensions. You know where this is. You've clicked on this part, right? Can you hear me? Don't worry, I'll mute your mic so that I speak with you.
Yes.
So did you search right live server here? Yeah.
Okay. I think my question has been answered now. I was trying to get the name of the extension.
So the first one that pops up, me remember it's by Retweak Day. That's the owner of the extension. Retweak Day, the first one that shows you 56 milliseconds. Download it and install it. Sorry, install it. It doesn't download. Sorry for using your word. Yeah. So who has question? Next person.
Thank you.
No problem.
Please, the image that you got. Let me get the copy link. I didn't get that.
How did I get the image?
Yes, and the copy link adapt.
Okay. It's simple. It's not hard. See, go on your browser. Search for CareerEx. Go on your browser. Search for CareerEx. When you search your CareerEx, look at this. Click on images. Are you with me? Hello, are you with me? The person that asks question, please unmute your mic.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm with you, sir.
When you
Yes, sir.
go to your Google Chrome or whatever you're using, click on write CareerEx. When you write CareerEx, you would see, go to the images section. You see images, search, and all of that. Go to the images section. Don't write anything. You see front-end development. You see this picture there. It should be there for everybody. Right click on it or left click, depending on how your this is configured. All you need to do is copy image link. That's if you don't want to download. Copy the image link. Look at it. Are you with me? I can't even hear him anymore. Unmute your mic and speak with me. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
No, not him. Not you. The guy that asked. That's what I'm after. Please unmute your mic and speak with us. Are you with us on this call? Okay. So for those that have same issue with him, all you need to do is just click on this copy image link, and when you click on it, it's all you need to do is go back to your VS Code. Inside this image src, this is called source, so image source. So inside of it, you now paste it. Yeah, so I've pasted it currently now. You now go and check. So mine still shows. It still shows. So for those that download, you can also create an image folder, save the picture inside, and then call it up. Who has questions again?
I have a question, sir. Please. The line is intentional. Like
You said
the line. before you started each one. 3 lines. This 3 lines.
Okay, no. It's not intentional. Oh. See, let me tell you, don't mind me. It's for proper view so that it doesn't look too. By the time everything is joined, you start getting confused. I gave that space to ensure clean stuff. Yeah. So anyhow you keep it, but ensure that it is inside the body. You can see. Can you see how it is structured inside the body? So after the body open, go to the next line under the body and do it inside and close it. How I want it. Anyhow you do it inside, it will still run. Look at it. It's still perfect. Who has questions?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Who has
I
questions?
have a question, sir.
Go on.
Good day, sir. Okay,
Good day.
I'm a little bit confused from live server. The installation of live server. After
Mhm.
that, I really confused.
Eh?
I'm confused with live server, the installation.
See.
I can't really go on.
You can't view your code. Can you hear me? Unmute your mic. Speak with us. Speak with me. Can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
From the live server, you can't do what? Talk to me.
I can't go on. I'm confused at that point.
Oh, see, the live server enables you to see the output of what you've written. Eh? The reason why I introduced the live server is to enable us view whatever we are doing. There are two ways for you to do that. The live server is not what you're learning. The live server is just a tool to enable you view what we have been doing thus far. Now, I want to clearly understand. Is it that do you understand everything we've written here? Let me know. Let me know where your exact issue is. Is it that everything we've written here you don't understand?
I understand the part of the folder, opening it, and then using it on the code down to the head part. But anything after that is really confusing to me.
Okay, so see, I know I really know what is the issue. The issue is something that needs to be carefully taught, detailed teaching again. Now, what will happen is for the purpose of because if I start going through from the top again, it would actually take much of our time. What I'm going to do is I will can you send a message on the resources group right now, like immediately, so that after the class I know that I am not getting confused. Just send a message on the resources group that I did no, on the question group, on the question section. Just type in, oh, I don't understand. Just type in, I don't understand, so that I know that you're one of the persons. You're also having issues like her, that you don't understand every single step we've taken. Just write in that section, I don't understand. Please. Is this helpful? Can this be helpful enough?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. So just go there, write I don't understand. So that because if I start all over again, it's already 4:40. Would because there are a lot of persons that are here, and then if we start going back and forth, it looks like we are not serious. So that your case will be treated with so much. We'll handle it well. Now, if you also having same issues as her, please go there, comment I don't understand. We'll treat it. Now,
Thank you very much, sir.
yeah, no problem.
I want to
Please,
ask questions, sir.
okay, go on.
Please, where did you click the go live?
Good evening, Mr.
Can you see my
Timmy.
icon? Eh? Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Are you seeing this go live here? Are you seeing my
No.
screen? Look at my screen. Can you look at my screen down here?
Yes.
Go live.
Okay.
Can you see it? All you need to do is click on it. Click on it. Just click on it.
Okay.
Now, for those having issues with the whole live server thing, and your this is not working, leave that live server for now. Just go on your HTML file. Look at this HTML file. Right click. Once you click on right click, lot of things like this will open, would show. Just click open with Edge or open with Chrome, depending on the browser on your laptop. It will automatically show you there. So when you click on it, all you need to do is just open browser and wait. It will load up on browser. These are the two ways for you to do it. Now look at this. You can see that it's still opened as the same thing as the live server. No big deal. Welcome to front end class. Welcome to front end class. This is CareerEx by Access Bank. Front end web development, easy peasy. Does this make sense? So no need stressing yourself about live server if it's not working at the moment, but it will still work. That's how it is.
Mr. Timmy, can I say something, please?
Go on.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Timmy, and I want to say thank you for the class so far. I believe that this program has been organized into weeks from week 1 to 12, I think. Now, and today is the last day of week 1, and there are a lot of things we need to cover in this week 1. So the question I want to ask is, can we say we have covered what we are supposed to cover for this week 1 already?
Yeah. We have.
Okay.
Yeah, we have.
And another thing I want to say is, those of us who are using phone, it's like the letters are not too bright. They are not bold. You can't see very well. So what do you advise us to do?
I won't lie for you. So usually I zoom in. Currently now I've zoomed in, but the more I zoom, the more I get to cover some things on my own screen end. So for instance, let me show you this.
Okay.
And so the more I zoom, you can see that it's no longer making sense anymore. So the best thing I would just advise you is just do it with your laptop or tablet. The more your screen width and height, the more it's comfortable for you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Questions? Who has questions?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How did you come about line? Line 4 and 5 in the code?
I can't hear you clearly. I'm having difficulties hearing you.
I said, how did you come about line 4 and 5 in the code?
Okay, sorry. Let me. Line 4 and 5. Line 4 and 5. How do I come about it?
Yes.
Okay, I wouldn't want to. Don't just bother on this now. In the next 2 weeks or a week, your next session, which is next week, this new week, you would clearly understand what they would do. I don't want to give every one of us information overload, because if I do that, I will not achieve the aim. The aim of the class is not useful then. So just bother yourself with what concerns this class. Please, let's not just leave that for now. Your next class, you understand. Does it make sense?
Okay, sir.
No problem. Who has questions?
Can I go on?
Can I go on? Go on, perfectly, go on.
Okay. So I did the copying of the image link, but my link is looking very similar. I don't understand why. I've used Chrome and I've used Edge, and it's the same image. So I don't understand why my link is, overly long.
You said you don't understand you don't understand me.
I'm struggling to hear you.
Oh, think is like out. So any hear me? Hear anyone hear me? It's not show me that
Your voice is breaking.
Hello, sir.
Anyone hear me now?
Hey, please, sir. I know those of us that get access to the platform on time. How do we cover?
Hold on. Um. Okay. Hear me.